somebody asked me, this was with Ring of Honor, and they had just done a show, and I think that it was the Hardys and the Young Bucks, and they did like 3,500 people in Lakeland, Florida. And somebody said, like, do you think that Ring of Honor could do a show that would draw 10,000 people? And at that time, I just said, you know, no time soon. And Cody, like, immediately was just like, you know, probably within an hour, I think, just goes, give me the Young Bucks, give me Kenny, I'll take that bet.
So much of what happened with All In was legit serendipity, legit. Things just coming together. When I pressed the button, my life changed. To do our own show, to do a show for wrestling fans by wrestlers sounded very romantic, and most industry experts were, you know, dooming it to fail. And the amount of pressure that came with it as we built to September 1st was...
The Elite, composed of Cody Rhodes, Matt and Nick Jackson, known as the tag team called the Young Bucks, Hangman Adam Page, and Kenny Omega, along with a few others, was part of the most popular faction outside of the WWE. These 5 pro wrestlers took a bet on themselves and created their own pay-per-view named All In. All In, which was held in Chicago, sold out in less than half an hour. That has never happened to a show that was not made by the WWE in almost 20 years. This show sparked a revolution that became All Elite Wrestling. For the past 4 years, AEW has made many leaps and bounds to change the sport of professional wrestling, and now, finally, AEW Fight Forever is here. I have gone to many AEW shows since it began in 2019. I was even there at the very first All In back in 2018 that sparked AEW. AEW's pay-per-view All Out has been held in Chicago every year. Well, except for that one time when the world shut down, but we won't talk about that. But going to an AEW show is like a party, a big party, and it is so much fun. Now, side note, if you've never been to a wrestling show, I do highly recommend going to one. Whether it is an AEW show, a WWE show, or your local indie federation, going to wrestling shows is great fun. Regardless, anyway, I just went to this past year's All Out to go see an awesome wrestling show. Oh, yeah, and I also wanted to get other people's opinions on Fight Forever while I was there. So let's go ahead and reminisce about that time. All right, first, I love this setup right here.
Thank you, I made it myself.
I kind of thought so. Is Darby Allin your favorite wrestler?
One of, yeah.
One of?
Yeah, probably Jeff Hardy, Sting, certainly in the conversation as well.
All right, so I'm guessing you're a huge Acclaimed fan.
Yes, I am a huge Sesame Daddy Acclaimed fan.
So I'm guessing when they won the Trios belt.
Yes, I damn near cried, yes.
So you have played Fight Forever?
Yes.
How much of the game have you played?
I've played it a good amount. Done Road to Elite all the way through once.
Okay.
Working on a second time.
Is Road to the Elite your favorite part of the game?
I enjoy it. It's fun, but I just like doing random matches.
Okay. Who is your favorite wrestler to play as?
Probably Kenny.
Kenny?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's kind of between Darby and Orange Cassidy.
Darby.
Darby?
Yes.
Okay.
Second favorite, MJF.
Have you played the Stadium Stampede mode?
Yes.
What'd you think?
Fun as hell.
Give me more about that. Give me your experience.
It was just, I didn't know what to expect. I was hoping it wasn't going to be glitchy.
Mm-hmm.
Just day one playing it, and thankfully it wasn't. It was just fun picking where to start out in the arena and just figuring it out of like, what does this box do? Kick it open, see what happens. So I really enjoyed it. It's a lot of fun.
Have you played the Create a Wrestler mode inside? Or like whether it's Create a Wrestler, Create a Tag Team, Create an Arena?
I've tinkered around with the Create a Wrestler. Haven't really got a chance to dive as much into it as I'd like to.
What'd you think? What's your opinions of it?
I like there's so much customization. Like I said, there's just so much to it. You know, you can spend hours in there if you really wanted to.
I spend so much time creating my wrestler, how I want the wrestler to look, how I want the wrestler to come out, and everything. I just wanted longer entrances because the fact that you can do so much with the entrances, but it's so short, it doesn't make a difference what you put in the entrance if it's so short.
I like it. I wish it was a little bit more in depth, but first go for AEW, I get it, and I'm sure they're going to add to it. So, looking forward to it.
What is your favorite mode or match type to play in the game, whether it's Darby Allin or as your creator wrestler?
I'd have to say the barbed wire death match, probably because there's not another mode like it. You know, it's very unique.
In what way? Tell me more about the barbed wire death match.
With the timer, the countdown, the extra damage, it's just a different feel than any other game you're going to play.
Okay.
It's a whole different style of strategy as opposed to your normal, you know, beat 'em up, climb the ladder, beat 'em up, get the pin. You know, there's a lot more different strategy to employ there.
The exploding barbed death wire match.
Probably one-on-one lights out.
Oh, lights out. Okay, okay. Would you recommend this to whether a wrestling fan or a video game fan?
Yeah. I think it's just, who didn't grow up playing a wrestling game at some point? So I think anyone could play it and have a good time with it.
A hardcore wrestling fan that loves AEW and loves arcade style wrestling. But video game fans, yes.
Absolutely. I think if it's your first wrestling game, absolutely give it a try. See if it's your cup of tea because there's so many different options. As well, if you are a wrestling fan, if you're anything like me, you're gonna love it.
Wonderful, awesome. All right, I am back, and that was a fun time. Even got my all-out shirt from the show. But let's talk about this wrestling game. It's Wednesday, and you know what that means. I'm Brett J. Rasmussen, and this is the Brotherhood of Geeks review of AEW Fight Forever.
AEW is for the bold. AEW is for the fearless. AEW is for those who know that deep inside, they are elite. Now, it's time for you to create your unforgettable moments. Where your legend is born. And your memories will live forever. Are you willing to risk everything to become a champion? This is your time to become elite. Are you daring enough to fight forever?
Let's first discuss the story mode for this wrestling game. In AEW Fight Forever, it's called Road to the Elite. In Road to the Elite, you choose a wrestler to begin with, whether it's a wrestler who's already on the AEW roster, like Chris Jericho, Miro, MJF, Darby Allin, Kenny Omega, and others, or you can choose a custom wrestler that you made. I'll get to that in a little bit. I do highly recommend choosing a custom wrestler because the stats for any of the wrestlers from the AEW roster are set into stone, and you will not be able to augment their stats and abilities. But you do get instant access to the stats and abilities that those wrestlers already have. You start off by getting a call from the owner of AEW, Tony Khan, and he books you for the first show of AEW Double or Nothing in a casino battle royale for a shot at the AEW World Championship at the next big pay-per-view, All Out. Each week, before the weekly show on TV called AEW Dynamite, you will choose from different options over the course of 4 turns. Once you hit turn 4, you will go to Dynamite to play whatever match that your wrestler is booked for to progress the current story that you are in. You can choose to work out, go sightseeing, eat at a local restaurant, and to play mini games with the Young Bucks. You can also meet up with different wrestlers from AEW to interact with too. During this time, you do have the ability to level up your character, depending on the different activities that you do on each of your turns, along with winning wrestling matches too. You can level up how hard you hit with punches or kicks, how well you can grapple, how fast you can run, how many different signature and finisher moves you can use. You can also get different abilities, like gaining more momentum when you hit first, or being able to kip up, or to jump over the ropes to the outside, and other abilities like that. You can also purchase power-ups like unlimited momentum during your match, or getting bonus points for you to use leveling, and a few other power-ups. Each story arc that your wrestler will go through goes from pay-per-view to pay-per-view, starting at Double or Nothing, to All Out, to Full Gear, to Revolution, and then back to Double or Nothing. So pretty much a full year of AEW programming. Throughout the year, you will experience different key moments from AEW's history too, like the very first episode of Rampage, or the exploding barbed wire death match. You can also play an extra match on the new shows, AEW Dark or AEW Rampage, on one of the 4 turns for extra points to level up your wrestler. Now, this is probably my favorite mode in Fight Forever. I love the old school arcade style of leveling up your wrestler and going through the life of a wrestler in AEW. How you choose to manage your skill points and power-ups can either put you in the most advantageous or most at risk in matches. You can play Road to the Elite as many times as you want, but it doesn't seem like when you choose the same creator wrestler, any of the stats and abilities will transfer from playthrough to playthrough, or at least that's what happened when I played Road to the Elite multiple times. Also, the times that you interact with other AEW wrestlers, unless they're part of the story that you are in, it's very surface level and doesn't add much, or at least it will give you a chance to set up a match at AEW Dark or Rampage as one of the bonus matches. They just show up and go, "Hi, I'm Chris Statlander. Hi, I'm Luchasaurus. Hi, I'm Kenny Omega. Fight me on Rampage. Hi, I'm Cody Rhodes. Fight me on AEW Dark. Hi, I'm Jungle Boy. Fight me on whatever." Like, they just show up and there's not much. There's nothing really to it. But even with that, I do enjoy Road to the Elite.
Daniel, I see that your mentor here is trying to bully you into saying that you're a sports entertainer. Now listen, you can be whatever you want to be. I respect us wrestling last week. And in my opinion, I agree with all these people that you're a wrestler.
Now, every wrestling game has to have create a wrestler mode, and this one is no different. Okay, well, maybe some different, a little bit more different. Let me talk about the good things first. There are many things that you can customize when it comes to your created wrestler. You can customize your entrance, your moveset, tag teams, the arena you wrestle in, and so many other things. The moveset list that you can choose from for your created wrestler is massive. Moves and finishers from wrestlers of the past and the present, from wrestlers from AEW or even outside of AEW. When you're customizing your wrestler, you have all of the basic necessities for it. Name, where you're from, height, weight, entrance gear, ring gear, entrance music, etc. And you have the same basics when it comes to creating the entrance for your custom wrestler, the entrance music, and how you come out to the ring. Oh yeah, you can make custom tag teams too. But that's about it. The custom wrestler mode is very basic. There's a lot of stuff that you can customize, but compared to the current WWE 2K games, and even WWE games of the past that Yuke's has developed, is a bit basic. Yuke's has been developing wrestling games for years, 20 years probably, and it just seems very basic, very bare bones. Now, That is not me saying that this custom wrestler mode is bad, because it's not. There's many choices that you have to create your wrestler and your entrance, but that's about it. The custom entrance is really short. It's pretty much your wrestler comes out, does a pose, and then cuts away. And I can kind of see why they chose that. They want you to get straight to the wrestling, but one of the many reasons why I love wrestling are the entrances, and I would love to see the whole entrance as my wrestler. Them coming out to the ramp, doing their pose, and walking out to the ramp and then going to the ring. I miss all of that. When it comes to actually customizing your wrestler, you do have many choices, but it's between choosing between preset faces and preset body types. There are many of them, but the amount of customization feels very limited. And the same goes with the gear for your wrestler. Again, there are many choices for them, but it's just presets. And then with making the moveset for your wrestler, there are many choices, but you have to scroll through everything in alphabetical order. For example, if I'm looking for a specific wrestler from Kenny Omega, the One-Winged Angel, or Darby Allin's finisher, the Coffin Drop, or even MJF's Salt of the Earth submission finisher, I have to scroll through everything alphabetically. There is some separation between signature moves, finishers, taunts, the different types of strikes, whether running strikes or standing strikes or whatever, but that's about it. There should be some quality of life things made for this game to be able to tab between the different types of moves, like for submission finishers, grapple finishers, striking finishers, and so on. There's just some quality of life things that should be there, but they're not. From what I see here for the custom wrestler mode, there's a good foundation here, but it's very bare bones. You can never have enough customization if you could customize other aspects of your wrestler, like how you specifically want them to look, or to add logos to the gear, or having more to customize with your entrance. That would be amazing. And then if we could go through the moveset customization with a bit more efficiency and to be more effective, that would be awesome. If we get a second Fight Forever, or there's a major patch and they add those quality of life aspects to the custom wrestler mode, I think there's something there. There's a good foundation with this mode. All that needs to be done is to add on top of what they already have.
The first match that Zack Sabre Jr. had in New Japan was against Katsuyori Shibata over the Rev Pro British title.
And it was a match that Zack Sabre Jr. won, and now Zack's phenomenal sports entertainment we're watching. It didn't work, but it was kind of phenomenal, almost. Now the uppercuts exchanged. As Garcia comes charging in and takes down both men.
Since this is a wrestling game, we can't talk about a wrestling game without the wrestling! In Fight Forever, there are many different types of matches that you can play. You have the classic one-on-one, two-on-two, which I like to call them tag teams, three-way match, a four-way match, the Casino Battle Royale, the ladder match, an exploding barbed wire death match, and the new Stadium Stampede mode, along with minigames and a training mode. You can, of course, change stipulations on these matches, like having no DQ in one-on-one matches or tag matches, have them be for the titles, and more. The Casino Battle Royale match is AEW's version of the classic Battle Royale. There are 21 different wrestlers that each choose a card from a standard deck of cards, and each suit, spade, clubs, hearts, and diamonds, represent the grouping that you are in. When a suit is announced, 5 wrestlers come out and join the Battle Royale, and the goal of the Battle Royale is to throw your opponents over the top rope and to be the last one standing in the ring. The person who draws the Joker is the last one to come out to the ring, and they come out by themselves. The exploding barbed wire death match is a hardcore match where anything goes. Barbed wire is wrapped around the ropes and you are stuck inside the ring with your opponent. You can throw your opponent into the ropes and do massive damage to your opponent, but you can also take damage if you get thrown into the ropes too. And every time you get thrown into the ropes, explosives will go off, hence taking more damage. There is also a timer that counts down during the match, and once it hits 0, it blows up the ring with you and your opponent inside. You are able to keep wrestling after the timer hits 0, but both you and your opponent will be severely damaged. The match ends with someone getting pinned or being submitted. The different mini games are different party games that you can play, like doing mini races or gathering more poker chips than your opponents and things like that. The training mode is where you can try different wrestling moves against an opponent. You can try out different finishers and signatures and which ones you like, which ones you don't like, stuff like that. The Stadium Stampede match is a battle royale mode where you have many people online choosing their own wrestler and to eliminate as many opponents as possible in this huge stadium with different items and power-ups just cluttered around the stadium. You use different wrestling moves against your opponent to drop their health down to 0 and to eliminate them. There's also online matches that you can do against people too. There's ranked matches where you can test yourself and move up in the ranks in the leaderboard. There's the casual match where you can just wrestle other players for fun, no ranking or anything like that. You can also set up a private match if you and your opponents just want to play against each other online. You can do that too. So there's all of the different modes that you can play in Fight Forever, but how good are the wrestling mechanics in this wrestling video game? Well, AEW Games and Geeks wanted to go with a more arcade-like feel for Fight Forever, similar to the games like WWE No Mercy or WWE Here Comes the Pain from back in the day. The more recent WWE games have become more of a wrestling simulator than being an arcade game, and AEW has chosen to go the arcade route to set themselves apart. Now, the controls are pretty basic, but it is a bit clunky. And there is a bit of a learning curve when you are figuring out your moveset and how to do the moves efficiently. There is somewhat of a tutorial in the game, but it's very lackluster, and it's just still images with a little paragraph explaining what momentum is, or how to counter or chain wrestling, or whatever it would be. This could be enough for some, but for me personally, I would prefer if there was a literal tutorial mode in the training mode where you learn all of the mechanics of Fight Forever through example. Press this button to strike, press this button to grapple, this is how you counter, this is how you do your finisher, so on and so on. Like exercise modules, or quote, press the button, do the thing, as I said before. There have been multiple times where in multi-person matches, I wasn't able to break up a pin or stop a move or something because even though I was targeting the wrestler I wanted, the hitbox was missed. So there's no good indication on when you can counter a move, so you kind of have to learn the timing of multiple moves, and it becomes a bit difficult doing that. Now, this is not me saying that the game isn't fun, because the game is so freaking fun. Man, when you get the ball rolling and you kind of know what you're doing and you can really do some really fun, cool things in the game, doing your high-flying moves or countering a finisher or doing your finisher is so much fun. When me and my friends have played this game, we had some really fun moments doing some crazy and stupid things with our wrestlers, with the wrestlers we played at. My friends like to call Fight Forever, quote-unquote, fun jank, meaning that even though the controls were a bit wonky and sometimes not as responsive as we would like it to, we still had tons of fun. There's a lot of fun things that you can do in this game, but it just feels unfinished, unpolished. Again, there's a solid, great foundation here, but it just feels like it needs to be refined and the gears just need to be tightened a little bit with a little bit more polish.
You think you know it?
As I said before, AEW Games and Ukes wanted to go with a more arcade style of game for their wrestling game, and the same goes with the look and style of Fight Forever. The characters in the game are bigger and more blocky, almost looking a bit like an action figure, but that's kind of the charm of this game. The layout is clean and easily understandable when it comes to the main screen and deciding what mode you want to play. There are tons of options like seeing your stats, leaderboards, match records, wrestling info, championship management, and so on and so on and so on. You can change who is champion manually in your championship management. I actually have gone and manually changed who is champion in Fight Forever to match whoever's currently champion on AEW television. There's also a jukebox that has pretty much every wrestler's theme and other songs on it too. You can customize the playlist to only play the songs and themes that you like, but sadly the music isn't as up to date as I would like. And that could be because of development, that could be because of licenses, there could be a lot of factors to why that would be the case. And that kind of goes along with the amount of people on the roster too. The roster feels a bit empty, sadly, and a bit out of date. Now, mind you, I do understand that there are tons of moving parts when it comes to developing a game, and there have been delays with Fight Forever until it came out. It could be contract things, it could be licenses, it could be a multitude of different reasons why different wrestlers are not in the game. I don't know how all of that goes on and who's in Fight Forever and who isn't, but as I said before, this just feels very bare bones. And it's just as bad for the women's division. Look, I'm not saying that the overall roster is bad, because that is not the case. You do have your AEW originals like MJF, Sammy Guevara, Darby Allin, Hikaru Shida, and Britt Baker. And then you have the star power of wrestlers like Jon Moxley, Kenny Omega, Sting, the Young Bucks, and Bryan Danielson. But what I am saying is that compared to the deep roster that AEW, the company, has on its television show, Fight Forever's roster isn't as deep as AEW actually is. There seems to be a common thread throughout this review, as I have already gone over. It's that there's something really good, really solid here in AEW Fight Forever, but it doesn't quite hit the mark. AEW Games and Ukes went for the arcade style of wrestling games, and I feel like they did a great job at nailing that style. But there are some things missing, or things that need to be tweaked and fine-tuned to make this one of the best wrestling games out there. Graphically, this may not be for everyone, because it does go with that arcade style, as I said, almost looking action figure-like. But that's not a bad thing. That's just the style choice. But some wrestlers do look closer to their real-life counterparts compared to others. The gameplay is really, really fun, and when it works and you are able to do some really cool and fun and crazy things in the matches, it's great. But sadly, it feels too clunky and sometimes unresponsive. Road to the Elite is still fun, and I love that mode, but it just needs to add a few more things on top of it. And the same goes with the custom wrestler, custom arena, custom team, the customization mode. Look, I love wrestling, all wrestling. I watch tons of wrestling, AEW, WWE, Impact Wrestling, New Japan Pro Wrestling, and so many other promotions. And AEW is my personal favorite wrestling promotion out there. Look at all my shirts. I wear multiple AEW shirts. I love AEW. That is my own personal preference. I love AEW. But Fight Forever is, as of right now, just feels bare bones. There's a great foundation to AEW Fight Forever, but it's not there yet. With a skeleton of a roster, clunky controls, time-sucking scrolling for customization of your moveset and more, there just needs to be some quality of life tweaks that should have happened. It's crazy too, because the developer, Ukes, has been making wrestling games for decades, and it feels like they went a bit backwards with Fight Forever. This game has a great foundation for itself, but it just misses the mark on being a great wrestling game. I have had tons of fun playing this game, but there's only so much to Fight Forever. I still do recommend this game to any wrestling fan, whether you are already a fan of AEW or you watch WWE or Impact Wrestling or New Japan Pro Wrestling, or you're a fan of indie wrestling or whatever it would be. This game is still great fun. I still love this game. And also to any video game fans that like wrestling, no matter how much or how little of wrestling you like, I do still recommend this game because this game has a lot to it and it is great fun. But it's just okay. It's bare bones. There's just a skeleton to it. I hope to see an AEW Fight Forever 2 so that AEW games and Ukes can improve on the good foundation that they have made with this game. AEW Fight Forever gets a 3 out of 5. Guys, thank you so much for watching the Brotherhood of Geeks review of AEW Fight Forever. It has been a long time coming, but it's finally out, and I want to know your opinions. If you've played AEW Fight Forever, what did you think of this game? Do you watch wrestling like I do, or are you interested in watching wrestling or playing wrestling games? Let me know down in the comments below. But please, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and press the like button because that also helps us here on YouTube. And you can also press the bell icon. That way, whenever we put up a video, you know we put up a video. All of our socials are down in the description below if you want to go ahead and contact us at the Brotherhood of Geeks, and we always greatly appreciate you talking to us and interacting with us. But yeah, this is a wrestling video game, great fun, good foundation, could be more to it. But guys, that is it from me. I'm Brett J. Rasmussen, and as always, live to play, play together. I'll see you guys next time.